What's up, myself? My name is Rishav. I want to re-record the video I posted 2 days ago about I meditated for 21 days. Here's what happened, because it turned out to be quite lengthy. I kind of talked a lot. I went off track quite a bit. I was holding the camera and I was like very shaky, and it was almost cringy. If you watch that video and if you watch like me just putting my hair away every like 3 seconds because it was getting in front of me, very cringy to watch, and I was moving a lot, so I wanted to re-record it so it can be more precise. And also in that video I talked really slow, so if you do watch that video, I'm gonna keep it up in my channel. I'm just gonna change the title, but if you do watch that video, I would recommend you watch it on 2x speed, just so you can hear the points, so I can get across my point way quicker, because I talked really slow. And that's what one of the things I realized is, if I don't make effort to talk really fast, I end up talking really slow. So anyways, this is a rerun, a re-record. Interesting. This is a re-record of that video. I want to talk about what happened again, and I want to kind of make it shorter, so people who are watching just to know what happened can know what happened without watching 20 minutes of me just blabbering. Anyways, so I meditated for 3 hours straight for 21 days. Started in the end of March. Started in the end of March. It ended a couple of days ago on Sunday. Today's Wednesday, so I had my last 3 hour sit on Sunday, and it was a pretty amazing experience. A lot of things happened, but not really like crazy things, like how we, like when you first watch the videos, it feels like, like basically it's hard to sit for 3 hours unless you're liking it. If you meditate, you know what I'm talking about. If you tried meditation, even 1 hour is long, man. And I started from 15 minutes. When I started meditating, I couldn't sit still for 15 minutes, and I built my way up to an hour. And for like the last year, I was pretty doing an hour, nothing more. Even an hour is pretty tough, until one day one of my mentors, he came downstairs. He came upstairs. He lives downstairs. And he was like, "Hey, let's meditate 3 hours a day for 21 days." And initially I thought he was nuts, because 3 hours, like if that's a big leap. 1 hour is already enough. Now 1 hour times 2, that seemed crazy to me, but I agreed on doing it because I was quarantined. I am quarantined, and I wanted to push myself, because my practice was getting kind of stale, for lack of a better word. It was kind of being mechanical. And one of the most important things about meditation is you can't let it be like a ritual. You can't let it be like just another thing you do. You gotta go, every sit you have, you gotta go into it with intensity. You gotta go into it with like a clarity of purpose. You gotta know why you're doing it, just so you keep doing it, just so you're motivated to keep the practice, instead of doing it for a while and just letting it go, which is a trap a lot of people face. Even when I initially started, I would start, but then a couple months down, I would completely stop. And it's so easy to ignore it once you stop. Once you let go of the habit, it's easy to be it's easy to just like stop doing it. So the reason I did 3 hours was just to push myself, just so I can break through my own barriers, just so I can break through my own limiting belief that 3 hours is too much. So that's one of the things that happened during these 21 days, is my beliefs about what meditation is kind of just changed, because, well, beliefs about my practice in specific. So what I initially thought was, anything over an hour is just too much and I wouldn't be able to do it, but hey, I did it. So that had a big impact on my own capability of meditation. Now I know that it's all mind games. It's nothing special about 1 hour, or there's nothing special about 3 hours. It's all relative to your belief. It's all relative to what your commitment to the practice. So one of the major things that happened is, now I know I'm able to sit for 3 hours. It's hard. It's difficult, but I can do it. And eventually, I'm going to be able to do 4 hours, and eventually, I'm going to be able to do 5 hours. And one of the things I'm thinking is every year I'm going to do 21 days of, I'm going to increase an hour just to see how much I'm progressing. You know, within the year, I want to cultivate the ability to sit longer and longer because, you know, the longer you're concentrated, the longer you can get into these spaces where like you get a lot of work done. Because, you know, an hour is really a short time. You know, it's not a very long time compared to the monks who get to meditate, compared to the monks who dedicate their whole life to meditation. You know, 1 hour ain't shit basically. So that's one of the things I want to build up to, especially when I go into my 10-day retreats. You know, I want to be able to sit 5 hours, 6 hours, just because, you know, it's like the times I'm not meditating in the retreat, you know, I'm just wasting my time. So the more I'm aware throughout the retreat, the more benefit I'm gonna get. And, you know, even at home, you know, so if I have like a day off, I want to be able to meditate like 6 hours, you know, and without any trouble, really. So that's one of the things. Number one, change my belief about what meditation is for me. Change my belief about my own capabilities. Number two, I realized the nature of time. So this kind of interlinks with number one. The illusion of time, the concept of time, the notion of time we operate under is it's like we think of time as an absolute. So we think of an hour as an hour, and we think of 5 minutes as 5 minutes, you know, and we measure time with a clock. But this whole paradigm kind of breaks down when you get used to meditation, because you see the relativity of time, meaning, in other words, an hour of your day can seem like 10 minutes, and 10 minutes can seem like an hour. So when you are meditating, when you're in the zone, when you're not thinking about time, you're in a state of kind of timelessness where, you know, you're not keeping track of time. The only time you're keeping track of time is when you kind of have that thought. So one of the recurring thoughts within my practice is, oh, there's probably 20 minutes left, you know. And prior to that thought, I'm not thinking about time. After that thought passes, I'm not really thinking about time. So within the period of me thinking about that thought, I kind of create time for myself. Very tricky to understand, but you might know what I'm talking about. What I'm really trying to say is that you create time. It's not like time happens to you. Like, you create time. Tricky to understand, but that is the case. So ultimately, you know, like when I was meditating 3 hours, sometimes 3 hours passed. Not mostly, most of my practices, most of my days, 3 hours was extremely long, but there were 1-2 days where, you know, 3 hours, I was so into the zone that 3 hours passed like that. Like, it wasn't even a big deal. Because, like, just a month ago, if you told me to sit for 3 hours, it would be a big deal, man. Like, I would have to I really have to think it through. You know, I would really have to prepare myself for the suffering. I remember the first day I went into it, I was really thinking about it, man. I'm like, 3 hours, damn. But the more I did it, the more I seen that it was just mind games. That it's so relative that it depends on what how I'm reacting. So if I react in a negative way, then the 3 hours seem long. But if I don't react at all, if I'm totally in the zone, if I'm just doing my practice, if I'm not thinking about the time, then, you know, it's really not that long. Which really gets me to the point where you know, sitting longer periods of time is not that difficult once you get habituated to the practice. So like especially once you start practicing the same technique, and once you get more good at it, you know, you'll be able to sit for a longer amount of time. That's kind of the only things that happened is like my own beliefs about my practice changed, and my beliefs about time changed. It's not really beliefs, it's just more my awareness over time changed. Meditation is an investment, man. You know, meditation is not a quick fix, especially mindfulness, because we are so asleep that it really takes enormous effort to be more mindful. And The more mindful you become, the more results you get from meditation. So initially, your first few years, you gotta stick through it, man. Like it's been 2 years, and nothing amazing. Honestly, all amazing things have happened, but nothing instantaneous. Like nothing, like I can't just sit and access nirvana. Like nothing crazy had happened, but like it has really changed my life. My relationship with myself, my relationship to family, my relationship to God, my relationship to nature, my relationship to the universe. All these things are one thing, but my relationship to food, my relationship to time, my relationship to my own body, my relationship to the external world, my relationship to humanity, all has changed through meditation, because this practice really works. It's like, let's say you meditate for an hour a day. Those 1 hour you are healthy. It's like you are how do I phrase it, you are kind of vacuuming your mind from the impurities. That's the only way I can put it. There's a lot of ways to put it, but that's one way to put it. For 1 hour, you're vacuuming, you vacuum your mind, and for 23 hours, it's like you're more cleaner, So especially when you practice every day, you kind of purify your mind every day, and it permeates throughout the rest of your day. So it's not like, you're only clean for 1 hour. It's like you clean yourself for 1 hour, and then boom, for the next 24 hours or next whatever, you kind of operate on a different level of consciousness, because you've cleaned your mind. You've kind of seen, you've kind of it's just like vacuuming. Anyways, think of meditation in terms of a marathon. There's no competition when you do spiritual work. You're not really competing with someone else. You're kind of competing with yourself. So when you run a marathon, you're not necessarily wanting to be first. You acknowledge your own pace, you acknowledge your own strength, you acknowledge your own speed, and all you can do is kind of be better the next day. So the next marathon you run, instead of taking 10 hours, you want to take 9 hours, and that's how meditation is. There's no, oh, that guy meditated for 4 hours, so I'm going to meditate for 5 hours, because that's not how you really measure your progress in meditation. You measure your own progress by how aware you are, how dedicated you are, and how much effort you're making. I want to make another video about thinking of life in general in terms of marathon, Anyways, if this is not the video you expected me to make, I'm sorry. Nothing really happened, to be perfectly honest. Like, no breakthroughs, no mystical experiences, no enlightenment. Just my practice got stronger, my relationship with time changed, and my beliefs about my own practice changed. I do have more awareness now. I'm back to meditating. Actually, I'm meditating 2 times, 1 hour and 30 minutes. So I'm still meditating 3 hours a day, just in different periods of time. Morning I do 1 hour 30 minutes, and night I do 1 hour 30 minutes, and my practice has gotten stronger. I can't deny that my practice has gotten stronger from these 30 days. From these 21 days. 1 hour 30 minutes before, it used to seem like a huge amount of time, but now it's not. Compared to 3 hours, it's half. And even that is saying too much, because when I'm like really into it, 1 hour 30 minutes, piece of cake. I would encourage you to meditate, man. Sign up for a 10-day retreat, or go somewhere, learn meditation, start practicing daily, because this is an investment. This is one of the most important investments you can make in your life. Meditation is an investment that you need to make if you want to yield amazing results in the near future. I can guarantee you that if you start meditating, 20 years from now, you are going to be very thankful that you started meditating. It's been 2 years since I started meditating, and I'm very grateful for the 2-year-old me who started meditating, because it has changed my life, and it has changed all parts of my life, and it keeps on changing. It's like every day I'm pushing myself to grow. Every day is kind of like a special, because I'm doing something special. I'm kind of focusing inwards. I'm turning my attention inwards. Every day I have something to do that makes me feel accomplished, and that really is a good habit, like a truly good habit. We have other good habits, but they don't yield that much result as meditation does, because meditation is, you just get more in touch with yourself every single day. And out of the blue, someday you get hit with like, oh my god, I'm doing something amazing because my life has changed. And that's really what we want. We want our life to change. I'm gonna stop talking a lot, and I'm gonna make more videos. Have a few topics planned that I'm going to be talking about. I am going to be talking about. Hopefully, I've spoken faster this talk, because last talk I was talking really slow, and it was kind of cringy. Peace, guys. I'm very glad you watched this. If you want me to talk about anything, just write in the comments, or write in the comments if you want my opinion on everything. I have a lot of experience with diet, nutrition. I have a lot of experiences with fasting. So if you want to hear my opinion about any of these things, let me know. It's been 16 minutes and 18 seconds, and I'm gonna cut it off here. Thank you, guys. I love myself. I love you, because you and I are one. And peace.